The Clippers had a chance to make some noise in the NBA last night, but they barely made a sound against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The defending NBA champions rolled up in the Intuit Dome in Inglewood and beat the Clippers down with a 126-107 win. 30 points and 12 assists for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, still playing like an MVP. OKC remained the NBA's only unbeaten team at 8-0. The Clippers slipped below 500 at 3-4. Kawhi Leonard and Bradley Beal did not play last night. Clippers coach Ty Lue rested Leonard and Beal after both played Monday night. Leonard and Beal are two of the 8 players on the Clippers roster who are 30 and over. The Clippers have the oldest roster in the NBA. Lue is going to have a tough time this season trying to improve the team with so many players needing a break. Good luck, coach. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Southern California Edison confirmed to show up this week for our Altadena Town Hall, but then they reneged on their promise. KBLA Talk 1580 organized a town hall specifically for Black Altadena residents, people whose homes, memories, and futures went up in smoke when SCE's equipment sparked the flames. This wasn't some ambush or gotcha moment. This was a community saying, we need answers. We need to understand how this so-called fast pay program actually works. We need to know if justice will ever reach us. And Edison said no. Let's be crystal clear about what that means. This wasn't a scheduling conflict. This was a choice that tells Black Altadena residents that even after the fire, even after the devastation, even after admitting fault through the settlement program, they still don't matter enough for a couple of hours of Edison's time. You know what takes courage? Facing people you've harmed. Sitting in a room and yes, live on talk radio with folks who lost everything because of your infrastructure failures and explaining how you intend to make it right. That takes backbone. That's what real accountability looks like. When you're the reason people lost everything, you don't get to cancel on survivors waiting for answers. You don't get to send your regrets to KBLA and call it a day. This is about respect, or rather, the complete lack of it. This is the same pattern of neglect that may have led to the fires in the first place, and now they're doubling down on disrespect in the aftermath. The residents of Altadena have endured enough hell, and now they are navigating the nightmare of settlement claims, trying to understand what they are actually entitled to receive. Southern California Edison, you owe Black Altadena more than money. You owe them your presence, your transparency, your time, and you owe KBLA Talk 1580 a public apology, I might add. And until we get it, we're going to keep emailing the top dog at SCE, Mr. Pedro Pizarro. His email is pedro.pizarro@sce.com. Pizarro spelled P-I-Z-A-R-R-O. pedro.pizarro@sce.com. Or you can call 626-302-2255 and then press the number 1. That's 626-302-2255 and then press the number 1 to speak to a live person and express yourself. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Okay, G's up, little squash crowd. I got money, be a me, money in the bank. See you,
I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drank. I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drank. I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drank. I got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Shout out what you drank.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses, highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs, and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling Black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you would like your business or program for entrepreneurs to be considered for Wealth Building Wednesday, you can hit me up on the DMs at KBLA 1580 on any of our platforms. You can find me at DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA. And And then radio, DM me, especially on Instagram, although I'm everywhere. Please like, follow, and subscribe while you are there. And tell me about your business, and we will see, or tell us about the opportunity that you have for other businesses, and we will see about getting you into Wealth Building Wednesday. Excited now to learn about Chapter 38 Wine. They've blazed a trail in winemaking, and starting in June of 2018, becoming the first Black woman-owned brand to create infused wines with a focus on health and wellness. Let's learn more about it. We're being joined now by founder, proprietor, and head winemaker, Markesha Davis. Welcome.
Hi, Dominique. Thank you so much for having me. How are you this morning?
I'm blessed. It's great to meet you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's hear about a little bit about your story. What How do you become a head winemaker? I mean, what is your path to starting Chapter 38 Wine?
Well, for me, it was started off as a hobby, something that I just enjoyed over the years, traveling different wine vineyards. And one day, a family member just suggested, why don't you make your own? And that sparked a whole new world on the winemaking side. So what I wanted to do, because wine is such an old world, traditional wine, I wanted to be innovative in the space, and I wanted to understand not only the process of what my winemaking looks like, but how does it affect our community, us African Americans, the health benefits of it, and what could I do to make this space more more of a health perspective. So I went into to an experimentation. Pretty much kind of just thinking, okay, so if I, from what we understand from red wines, they have heart health, you know, uh, traditions from what we've heard over time, that how it helps the heart and pumps the blood. And so I wanted to figure out what the cannabis or infusing the cannabis with that would look like, and deciding, how would that look like from, kind of suiting people or patients who are dealing with other health issues. And so when I started doing a lot of the research around cannabis, then that led me to understanding how to mix the two together. All of this was experimentation, no schooling, no no one to teach me. And when I was going through this process, there was no one in my space or in my lane who was doing this. So I had no phone conversations to pick up to. I had no one to look into, understanding how to mirror these two together. So it was literally trial and error. So I began to mix both of them together and experiment on some family members who were experiencing health issues, particularly cancer. And understanding that once, maybe the first 2 to 3 weeks of the consumption of our chocolate Pinot Noir that's infused with cannabis, it allows you to, have an appetite increase and sleep better. So I think that's what the focus was initially, was to just make sure that we were still honoring what the health aspect was. Not, recreational use, we know what cannabis brings, but we just want to be more health conscious on the cannabis side for us. So that's where my initial thought process with it was, and kind of just growing up with it in family. My dad was a huge, he indulged. And so I kind of wanted to figure out what did that look like for us in our family. So that's pretty much how I got started. And here I am today, and, kind of, embarking on a couple of new journeys with this. And so I'm really excited to, see where this continues to take us.
You said your dad indulged you. I'm not sure if you mean wine or cannabis, but I'm reading here in your bio that one of the reasons for Chapter 38 Wine was to honor him.
Absolutely. He was a huge, at the time back in the 70s, it was called reefer. And he was a huge, so back then, that was a traditional way to, of expression back then. And so he was definitely a huge, as we were growing up, we were around it. And so I wanted to pay homage to that, But again, incorporate the health side of it so that there's more education around it.
Yeah.
But the original spark was to keep his legacy alive. So anything that you see on our reserved bottles has his birth year, which is 1952, and that's to continue to honor his legacy and, shed light into the educational side and the health and wellness towards cannabis consumption.
Markesha Davis, shall we say your dad's name while we're honoring him?
Yes, Charles Davis, Charles Morris Davis.
Charles Morris Davis. Well, look what you done
Absolutely.
did, Mr. Charles Morris Davis. Well, what does the Chapter 38 stand for?
So initially, when I began this journey, I was turning 38 years old. My youngest son was graduating from high school, and it was a new chapter in my life, and I wanted to figure out what the next step looked
Mm.
like. And so that's where the chapter 38 came from. And when you look at the logo, it kind of gives you some roots at the bottom of the number 38, which is where we're grounded in understanding our education and setting the ground roots. 38 is just, Trinity, new beginnings. And then the large branches outside of that is endless opportunities. And so when I brought the concept to my youngest son, who is a graphic designer, he sketched it out. We took it to the graphic designer, and there you have the logo, which is Chapter 38.
Okay. So talk to me about cannabis infused wine because I have never tried that. Some of us are, I'm not saying I've never tried cannabis. I'm saying I've never tried cannabis infused wine, to be clear.
Absolutely.
Some of us are scared of edibles because of various reasons. Talk to me about that.
I think again that we're talking about education, right? And we're talking about when we're talking about edibles, a lot of times we're consuming an entire piece. If it's 10 milligrams, we're consuming the entire portion of a 10 milligram piece of edible. What's important to understand with cannabis and wine is your consumption. Generally, what we recommend on our wines is no more than a 2-ounce pour. This is not meant for you to get totally liberated like we traditionally hear about. This is for health reasons. This is for consuming so that you can gain some type of rest, so that you can gain some type of appetite. So 2 ounces is all you need in order to truly relax and to truly indulge in what's the benefit of the health side of this is going to do for you. So cannabis is about microdosing. It's not about consuming what we traditionally know, especially when it comes to smoking. Smoking it is a little different, but when we're talking about an edible or consuming from a drinking perspective, it's microdosing. It's small amounts because we're not doing it to, get liberated to the point where we're, falling asleep and we don't remember anything. We're doing it because we want to indulge, we want to engage, we want to continue to be aware of what's going on around us, but let our body absorb the health side of it.
The what your bio is showing me here is that it has been a bit of a challenge in terms of connecting to that medical space and to that kind of pipeline, I guess, if you will. Um, Tell me where you are with that.
So at the moment, we are looking to integrate our wines, the cannabis wine, because we do have a CBD wine as well, but the THC wine has had more of an impact with some of the patients that we've had. So what we're looking to do is to submit ourselves to USC Cancer Research and MD Anderson Cancer Research in Houston, Texas. So what we've been looking for is researchers or those who understand the application process to submit the documents necessary for research. I have done a couple of research applications that have been rejected, but it's because of the lack of experience. So right now I'm looking to really dive into the research side so that we can figure out what that looks like for us in assisting patients in their stage 4 and aggressive cancer, just their quality of life. I think a lot of times when family members or patients are diagnosed with this, we don't have a solution. We don't have a plan as a family. So I believe our wines would help with that. When we're talking about the appetite, when we're talking about rest, it would allow family members to still have a better quality of life through these challenging times. And so we're just looking for researchers to assist us in this journey and get us started and kind of get us through those doors and through the first initial process.
Okay, so calling all researchers. Markesha Davis, how can we find your wines? I see that you have membership subscriptions here on the website, which is chapter38wine.com, chapter and then the numbers 38 and then wine.com, chapter38wine.com. So I see that you have different levels of membership, and I know wine clubs are a thing, but how do we find your wine beyond that, or is this the place? Yeah, share with us that.
Primarily, we are an online virtual winery. So you can find us at chapter38wine.com. We are doing a couple of collaborations with dispensaries. We are currently in Brooklyn, New York, at Happy Buds, and we've been there now for 3 years. And so we're looking for more collaborations who are on the wellness side, because some of the dispensaries are just for recreational consumption, but again, the focus is for wellness. So that's been another challenge, getting our brands into more of the wellness health aspect of the dispensaries that we're looking for. So at the moment, we're currently, like I said, virtual winery. You can find us online. We do ship, but we only ship to states that are legal. And right now, we're able to ship to 6 different states that are legal for our brands.
Okay, gotcha. So we should check in at the actual website. Is that the best way to support your business?
Absolutely. The best way to support, we are on all social media platforms as well. But when you go to the website, everything's there. That's your primary focus to locate us. Absolutely.
I mean, because this seems like something, I know the focus is health and wellness, and I'm thinking about, the holidays coming up, whether it's Kwanzaa or Thanksgiving or even Christmas or, Hanukkah, that if we do have someone who has health challenges, or even somebody who just likes cannabis and wine, that this would make a great gift.
Absolutely. We get a lot of that. We get special holidays, 50th birthdays, baby showers. We've gotten into a lot of special places with family who want to indulge and express their interest or just their support for what this is. Again, the first African-American woman to indulge on a cannabis wine has been phenomenal for us. So, yeah, absolutely. Holidays, special birthdays, special celebrations, we're open to everything.
Well, Markesha Davis, congratulations to you. 7 years in, that usually means your business is going to last. But in anyone who's a researcher, I would encourage you to reach out. I love that you are not just having a business, but working to blaze a new trail here in this space.
Thank you, Dominique. It's been a challenge, but we're trucking along as best we can, and we're so grateful for the support that we've had over the years, family, friends. It's been a phenomenal run. So we're just going to continue to blaze and, just allow God to just flow through this process, and he'll guide us to where we need to be. So we're really excited and really grateful.
Thank you so much for being here. Anything you want to say on the way out the door?
I just want to thank a lot of my supporters who are listening this morning who took the time out to join. I want to give a special shout out to my cousin here in Los Angeles, Paul Lee, who does a phenomenal job at always, pushing me to a better space. And I'm just grateful. And thank you again, Dominique, for this opportunity.
You didn't tell us you were Paul Lee's cousin. You're actually an honorary part of the KBLA delegation. So welcome.
Yeah, definitely.
So all the folks that join us every day in our KBLA delegation chat, I think, that's another reason to support Chapter 38 Wine. Such a pleasure to meet you, Markesha Davis.
Pleasure's all mine.
Phone lines are wide open, 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. What is going on in America? You know what we do. And don't forget, Tavis Smiley joining me, top of the hour. next hour with an update on the Southern California Edison scenario. All that is coming up on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
I love that so much for us. KBLA delegation, Paul Lee, connected his cousin, an entrepreneur, with us and got her on Wealth Building Wednesday. You can certainly do the same. Just reach out, DM me at DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA. I'm most active on Instagram. Honestly, I don't even know how to get into my DM messages on Facebook, so don't message me there. Message me on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. That's the best place. DePrima Radio. Please like, follow, and subscribe. I'm on YouTube too. I have my own channel, and of course, we stream every day on the KBLA 1580 channel. We appreciate you. And we are really dedicated to recycling black dollars and supporting local businesses and socially innovative businesses, meaning those who go beyond just a simple I got to make money mission and into something that's also giving back to the community in some way. A lot happened last night. A 36-year-old black woman was elected mayor of Detroit on yesterday. Her name is Mary Sheffield. She will be the first ever woman to lead the Motor City. And it's interesting because that's the same thing that happened in LA where we broadcast from. We've never had a woman mayor. And now we do. And it's interesting to me that it's a black woman that opens that door, that pushes past the glass ceiling and makes this happen. She beat this guy named Solomon Kinlock Jr. as a pastor. But BET, which is where I'm looking at this article, they really say, they make the point that this is they think it's an important moment for Black women in leadership nationwide. I think every electoral victory is that. But I think, she was elected to city council at 26. She's only 36 now. That's also of note. Just as we see Zohran Mamdani in New York City, 34. This is a new generation of leadership for the Democratic Party, and I feel like that is part of what has to happen. We have to open up the party to the progressive wing, to young people, new voices, and people that represent what folks need. What folks need without this word salad tendency of saying a whole bunch of nothing because you're actually loyal to corporations over people. And of course, we can get into, campaign finance reform would be helpful. Getting rid of Citizens United would be helpful. Getting the big money out of politics would be helpful. But what I'm starting to see more and more, and last night's election has lots of examples of it, is that people are taking more chances. For New York City to say, you know what, forget your fear rhetoric. We're going with the 34-year-old Muslim Democratic Socialist former rapper. That's what we're doing. And of course, he ran a great campaign. He did amazing in the debates. But again, we're starting to, and I hope this is a wave. I don't know a lot about Miss Sheffield, Mary Sheffield. She was the youngest person ever elected to city council in Detroit at age 26. And now she has ascended at 36 to the position of mayor. But I'm just hoping that this is a trend line, not just for the Democratic Party, for third parties, for the Republican Party, for our nation, to start to see some passing of the torch, and some risk-taking. By risk-taking, I mean moving beyond what corporate America calls safe, what our norms are, what our centrist, center-right tendencies are in the Democratic Party, in the media. This sort of, I know it's a wealth-building Wednesday, but here's a talking point. The Democratic Party is too radical. It needs to move to the center. We need to bring in Republicans. Why? Why do we need to do that? We don't need to do that. What we need to do is provide the humans that are voters, working class people, poor people, and yes, the middle class, but working class people, poor people, opportunity, resources, and programs. We need to lean into what people want. If you take the Democrat and Republican, progressive and conservative label off of things like universal health care, they are wildly popular with voters, period. Not black voters, not white voters. And to me, I doubt it will happen, but my prayer, my hope is that the Democratic Party will read the doggone room after last night's election. News, traffic, and sports, then call me, 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. KBLA Talk, 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk, 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Chicago Board of Education is taking over the Chicago High School for the Arts. Black board member Ebony DeBerry spoke Tuesday as she and her colleagues voted unanimously to convert the school into a district-run magnet school.
Thank you so much, Chi community, for coming together and being so persistent. Now we need you to help us find partners.
The board will preserve the Conservatory Arts program that offers students specialized training from professional artists. And Tony Braxton is sharing details about a relationship with rapper and music exec Brian Birdman Williams, revealing they secretly married in 2024 after more than 25 years of friendship. On Today with Jenna and Friends, Braxton said Birdman was always in her corner, even attending her baby shower and Broadway shows. She described their bond as peas and carrots, saying love grew slowly from deep friendship. Get BIN News now, on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers had a chance to make some noise in the NBA last night, but they barely made a sound against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The defending NBA champions rolled up in the Intuit Dome in Inglewood and beat the Clippers down with a 126-107 win. 30 points and 12 assists for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, still playing like an MVP. OKC remained the NBA's only unbeaten team at 8-0. The Clippers slipped below 500 at 3-4. Kawhi Leonard and Bradley Beal did not play last night. Clippers coach Ty Lue rested Leonard and Beal after both played Monday night. Leonard and Beal are two of the 8 players on the Clippers roster who are 30 and over. The Clippers have the oldest roster in the NBA. Lue is going to have a tough time this season trying to improve the team with so many players needing a break. Good luck, coach. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery, embrace the company of family and friends, and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but I saw a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Isaiah started vaping to try to deal with stress and quit because of his son. Learn how he and other Californians are rising above big tobacco at undo.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
You are, and I'm so glad you're here. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. A few other really important things have happened recently, besides last night's incredible election results, which we are still unpacking. One thing I wanted to note, though, there is a poll, the Highland Project poll of Black women voters. And what it's showing is that Black women voters are shifting our perspective. And I don't think it's the social media narrative that we're not showing up. We're sitting this one out. We're going to go get our nails done, and you all got this. We're tired of saving America. I think what the poll shows is that Black women want policy over party. And that makes total sense to me. That's where I am. They're saying financial security, affordable housing, and healthcare access are their top three, according to this polling. Financial security, affordable housing, healthcare access. Then comes education, reproductive rights, and community safety. But the top three are, what Zoran Mamdani was talking about in New York, right? He wants the buses to be free. He wants to put some city-owned grocery stores out there to help keep the prices down. The kind of things that are showing up in this survey, and it's more pronounced with younger voters. Younger Black women are saying, you know what? We are tired of being simply party loyalists. We need you to show us the money. And of course, Black women, not just Black women, Black people are overwhelmingly registered to the Democratic Party. But this polling reflects a trend line that I could have told you without seeing the Highland Project poll. And I think it is something that, points to an era of more sophistication, that our Captain Sava era may be coming to an end. And we need actual tangibles. And apparently this is more pronounced among younger Black women, according to the poll. And it's also being reflected in actions we're taking. This whole, meme about we're going to sit this one out, it sounds good on paper, but if you look at what we're really doing, Black women are starting nonprofit organizations. They're running for office. They're creating political action committees. So that means we are not sitting this one out. You may not see us at the No Kings March. I know some of us were there, but you may not see us in mass. Bill Maher had a whole meltdown because there weren't Black people at the No Kings Marches. It doesn't mean we're not politically engaged. It means we're doing something else. And so I think this is a good sign, to be honest with you. I think it's a very good sign. I also wanted to point out, we didn't get to talk about this yesterday, but Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex, has donated $80 million to Howard University. $80 million. That's an unrestricted donation. And apparently, Howard and other HBCUs are struggling right now because the government shutdown has delayed appropriations that were already allocated to them. So Wayne A.I. Frederick, who's the interim president there, said this is really great timing for Mackenzie Scott. $17 million will go to the Howard University College of Medicine. The other $63 million will go to Howard University in general. And one of the first things they're doing, they say, is creating a student aid fund that will help young people who have gotten behind in their tuition for whatever reason, in some cases relating to the government shutdown, will help to make sure that they can stay in school and maintain their education, defer their payments, not get penalties, give them some temporary relief. So I love this for us. Ms. McKenzie is out here doing damage. She has donated large unrestricted funds to a number of HBCUs, and it helps relieve a tiny little bit of my guilt about all the money I've spent on Amazon over the years, although I know good and well I should not be shopping there. I should be shopping locally, supporting local businesses, Black-owned businesses, folks that actually create jobs. Let's go to Fred calling us from L.A. Good morning, Fred.
Hello, Dominique. Can you hear me?
I do.
Okay, there's three things. Yeah, Trump says he wants to get rid of the filibuster rule. Well, if he ever left office, the Democrats come in control of the White House and 50% in both houses, then they would pass legislation for amnesty for illegal immigrants. They'd open up the border, and they'd pass other bad legislation. Now, number two, it is in my opinion that Trump has the power to open up the government and pay those that have to work, that have to have the legitimate jobs, the mandatory, like the FBI agents and police and things like that, the air traffic controllers. It's called the 13th Amendment, no involuntary servitude. Now, there's other articles in the Constitution that'll say that, but I think the 13th Amendment will stand on. And then the last one, Mamdani's election. He says he wants to freeze the rent, free bus fare, so you get the revenue from the fare box. So how would you train and hire your drivers? And he says free child care. Sure, those people got to be screened. Where are you going to get the money to screen them and hire them? And
you get the money the same place you get the money to subsidize oil companies and all the other things that our government does. You get it from the taxpayers. So it's about what your priorities are. It's not where you're going to get the money. It's what you're going to do with the money that you have. That's why they say budgets are moral documents. But Fred, why do you think that Trump can open the government without the Congress?
Because it's the president's job to do operations as I did at Water and Power. Article 2, the executive power shall be vested in the president. Section 1. Section 3. Section 3. He swears to take.
They have to pass a budget. They can't. He can't. He needs Congress. He's not an emperor. He's not a king. That's why he's saying to get rid of the filibuster. Now, I think that the Senate probably is not going to get rid of the filibuster for exactly the reasons you said. They're scared of what Democrats will do if there's no filibuster when Dems get in power. We know that the filibuster is a leftover, from the old South, and protecting this country, and I have air quotes around protecting, from true direct democracy. It's kind of like the Electoral College. They're old vestiges that I believe should go away. But I don't think this is one thing that I do not think Congress will follow the president on. I don't think they're going to get rid of the filibuster at all.
Okay, Article 1, Section 9, Paragraph 7. No money shall be drawn from the United States Treasury but in consequence of appropriations made by law. That's what you just quoted by the Congress. Again, the president is doing day-to-day operations. The people that have to go to work, the air traffic controllers, are entitled to get paid. End of story.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And so why is the president, your president that you love so much, saying he's not going to give them back pay? Even if you're asking people to work without pay because you haven't been able to efficiently run a government, one thing that I actually do appreciate, agree with the president about when he said if there's a government shutdown, it's the fault of the president because he's supposed to broker that deal and keep that from happening, right? Back to the back pay. No. You're right. You don't get to make people work without pay. That's not what you get to do. That's what he is talking about doing. But if this dude, AKA our president, could open the government without the Congress, trust and believe, he would have already done it. He cannot do it. And if you think you have a way, I suggest you, head to Washington because I'm sure he'd love to hear it. But that's just not how it works.
He said no back pay for the people that are non-essential. For some Social
he said no back pay for the people he doesn't like. Is really what he said. I mean, that's
okay. We could agree on that.
He thinks that you can legislate according to give people benefits according to their party line and their politics. No, sir. We all pay taxes, both Democrats and Republicans. That is totally illegal. Meanwhile, you got the Supreme Court poised to rule on his tariffs, which is going to be a monumental moment for exactly what you're talking about, Fred, because the power of the purse belongs to Congress. If the Supreme Court says that the president now has some kind of way, not just total immunity, but the power of the purse, what do we need Congress for? I mean, I guess
his argument
passing
is
laws, maybe
that power has already been delegated to him through the regulatory.
But that's wrong, process. And you know what it is they're seizing that power, and that, my friends, is unconstitutional. It ain't how it works. And the fact that the Congress is sitting there like a bunch of punks, and for the most part, just allowing this to happen, is the whole problem with our country
Dominique,
right now.
I'll call you back on the tariffs when the decision comes.
Please do. Please do, bye. Mr. Fred. It's always interesting to hear your manga talking points. Keeps me up to date on, what the official story is. Love that so much. Paul says the Senate would become useless if they did that, by the way. I don't know if he's talking about getting rid of the filibuster or the Supreme Court handing over the power of the purse to the president. But Michael, you're right. Mackenzie Scott has dropped a bunch of money. Michael says $200 million. I haven't counted it up. $80 million to Howard, VSU $50 million, Morgan $63, ASU $38, Spelman Clark $38, all unrestricted. True, that is transformative money. And she's still one of the richest women in the world. I think she's number 2, right? That just shows you how greedy most of these billionaires are. You can be handing out 80 billion here, 80 million here, 63 million there, changing institutions, game-changing donations, and you're still rich. B. Bell says, can she throw some this way? Well, she's single again, so I'm just saying. 800-920-1580, that's the number to call if you want to weigh in. We do have a lot to talk about. I always love to hear your thoughts, and we're going to keep it pushing when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase. Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit casmpvolunteer.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Is your loved one at the hospital or in a nursing home? Have they developed bed sores, fallen, or worse? These are things your family members should be protected from. Bed sores, falls, and dehydration are almost always the result of negligent care. If this has happened to your loved one, call Zoran at Basic Law Group at 800-215-1234 or visit basiclawgroup.com. The consultation is free, and if they don't win, you don't pay. That's 800-215-1234.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You do belong here. We're glad that you are here. In case you were noticing, you're on our chat on youtube.com. You're noticing the beautiful t-shirt that I have on. I got to go see a show last night. See that? I can talk with no sleep. It's possible. Went to see D-Smoke at the El Rey Theater in Los Angeles last night, Inglewood's own. It was a great show, so well attended. It was packed, and it's interesting to me how you can't see the shirt. Okay, I'm gonna stand up. Oh, sorry about the noise. Now you can see it. It's so cute. What I noticed that I want to remind us is that everybody was there. It was, I was surprised how many people were there on a date. Like, let's go on a date to a rap show. Okay. It was black folks. It was Latinos. It was Asian people. It was white folks. It was everybody. And the place was packed. People were having fun. And nobody was tripping. And I know that's not at all surprising, but I just like to remind us while we're talking politics and everybody's, on they not like us or whatever. It was really nice. It was a great show. And of course, D-Smoke brought out his brothers. Davion and Sir were there. They sang and rapped together. It was a really good show. Definitely worth seeing. Congratulations going out to him. And interesting too, Jay Taj opening up for him. Interesting to me how these shows, Miles, like the Netflix contest shows and such, they're actually really sort of creating stars.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing as we had with like American Idol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Voice. So yeah, we need a lot more of these, I believe. I hope we get some more of those type of shows coming up soon. So how was the crowd though? Was it a full house?
It was packed.
Let's go.
And everybody was happy, and it was a really mixed crowd. I mean, there was a lot of Latino, a whole bunch of black folks, a lot of couples. I saw some older people there, mostly hip hop type characters. It was a really nice show, and I'm glad I went, even though I don't like going out on a weeknight when I have to get up and do the show. I'm glad I went.
And I'm glad that LA came out and supported and packed that house out for D Smoke, man. Supporting the independent artists as we go through this transition time in the industry through the technology, through art, through hip hop. Hip hop's out the top 40. You know what I mean? All that. Everybody's doubting what we got going on. So shout out to everybody that popped up.
I said the same thing, and shout out to my friend who always drags me out to all these shows. I say I don't want to go. Okay, I do. But because of you, Miles, I went and bought the shirt. Because Miles told me the artists now, with no money being made off of streaming at all, they need you to buy the merch. That's how y'all make money. And so I went back there and got my shirt because of Miles. So yeah, and also I like it. It's cute. But look, it was a really good show, and I was saying to my friend, we can never take our city for granted. I've been to plenty of hip hop shows where there was nobody there, even with big names, people you would think were big names. And so the fact that there were people there from all over LA because they did the roll call thing, and everybody was there. So it was really nice. And I just, go see a show. I feel like it was election night, and I'm watching, returns on my phone in between the show. But I feel like in this time, we need arts and culture so much to keep us happy, to remember what we're fighting for, to stay encouraged, and to not suck up all of our energy into a news cycle that's not even controlled by us. So go to Miles Low Music and buy some merch.
Exactly, man. Support the artists, please. Everybody, support every artist.
Yeah, and of course, those of you, Charles from 1-800-UNITE US, those of you who say that you're mad at hip hop because too much of it is promoting drugs and violence and this and this and that, then when conscious artists come to your town, and I call him that because he said it about himself on stage, like D Smoke, then show up. Show up and show out and support, because everything is being corporatized. It's politics, it's art, food, right? Stores. That's why I need to really do a better job of go to the corner store and buy the thing. Don't just be a convenience junkie and buy it on Amazon, especially during this season, the holiday shopping season. That's what Black Lives Matter Grassroots, their Black Xmas is all about, is build black, buy Black, and bank Black, I think is what they say. So that means, first of all, think about building a community-based organization. You don't necessarily even have to spend money, right? Build community. If you are going to spend money, spend it with a Black-owned business or a local business. Support the folks that live around you so they can support you back. And then bank Black. Even J. Anthony Brown was the one that told me, like, if you got a lot of money, you don't have to put all of it in the Black bank, but at least have some of it over there, right? Better to have some of your funding in Black financial institutions. We can do that. We have these institutions. And so I was reminded of that. And I was also reminded of community, that despite the hype and all the, division that continues to happen in the media, when it comes down to us hanging out and having fun, people are just doing that. That's what they're doing. And it's still on. I want to remind you, by the way, if you would like to support Eaton family victims of the fire, and their quest for answers from Southern California Edison, you can still contract Pedro Pizarro. It's Pizarro, pedro.pizarro@sce.com. Let them know we're paying attention. We don't appreciate the disrespect, that they need to show up, as they committed to do, to our town hall, which is happening on Thursday with or without them. You can also call them at 626-302-2255 and then hit 1. The option is 1, the number 1, 626-302-2255. Clearly, we're doing a great job. Clearly, they are feeling the pressure, and you will find out how and why and what the next steps are. Right after News, Traffic, and Sports, Tavis Smiley will be joining me today in the studio to give us an update I'm excited to hear what's going on. I know that the KBLA delegation has been stepping up, showing out in a big way. I've been getting CC'd on some letters. People are sending me things that they're receiving about it. The conversation is turned up, the volume is loud. And so this is the time to press forward, not fall back. Tavis Smiley joins me after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Chicago Board of Education is taking over the Chicago High School for the Arts. Black board member Ebony DeBerry spoke Tuesday as she and her colleagues voted unanimously to convert the school into a district-run magnet school.
Thank you so much, Chi community, for coming together and being so persistent. Now we need you to help us find partners.
The board will preserve the Conservatory Arts program that offers students specialized training from professional artists. And Toni Braxton is sharing details about a relationship with rapper and music exec Brian Birdman Williams, revealing they secretly married in 2024 after more than 25 years of friendship. On Today with Jenna and Friends, Braxton said Birdman was always in her corner, even attending her baby shower and Broadway shows. She described their bond as peas and carrots, saying love grew slowly from deep friendship. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and most of all, being known, loved, and protected. There are thousands of kids waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 833